I want you to think about your morning routine today. Actually, no, think about the last time you were just like scrolling on your phone.
Oh, yeah, like waiting in line for coffee or something.
Right, exactly. Just killing time on your commute or whatever. How many posts or, videos did you scroll past that promised you some secret to, what do I call it, elite thinking?
Oh, I see those all the time, the whole hustle culture thing.
Oh, yeah. You know the exact ones I'm talking about. The life hacking guides, the gurus telling you how to maximize your daily output, or those crazy 10-step plans to radically reverse your destiny.
To finally achieve that ultimate top-tier level of success, right? I mean, it's everywhere. We're
Yeah.
absolutely obsessed with it as a society.
We totally are. And usually when we do a deep dive into success or personal growth here, we're looking at research on habits or psychological frameworks.
Right, productivity metrics, that sort of thing.
Exactly. But today, we are throwing all of that completely out the window. Today's deep dive is based on a grounding source that looks at our modern obsession with leveling up and, well, essentially tells us we're running in the completely wrong direction.
Yeah, the text we're examining today is a December 2024 piece. It's by an author named Yu Feng, and it's titled True Reversal, The Path to Transcending Life Levels.
And life is capitalized there.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly, all caps. And the mission of our discussion today really is to completely upend your traditional understanding of success. We're going to explore a radical, purely spiritual blueprint for what this text argues is the only actual way to experience a true reversal of destiny.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because the contrast between what we think success is and what Shifeng claims it is just jarring, like right from the very first paragraph.
Oh, absolutely. We aren't talking about a gentle philosophical disagreement here.
No, not at all. We're talking about a total demolition of the modern dream. But before we can even get into what true transcendence looks like, we have to look at what the text says is actively holding us back, right?
Yeah, because to understand the cure, you first have to understand the disease, according to the author. And the text takes dead aim at the very cultural narratives we consume, like daily.
The stuff we watch and read.
Exactly. It specifically calls out recent internet and media trends, things like time travel dramas, or those super popular stories and novels about marrying a CEO.
Which are massive genres right now. I mean, you see them everywhere. The fantasy of, going back in time with all your modern knowledge to become a powerful king or whatever.
Right, or marrying a billionaire who suddenly solves all your financial problems overnight.
Yeah. And on the surface, they just look like pure escapism, for people who are just stressed out about paying their rent.
Sure, but the text argues they represent a very specific, dangerous type of escapism, because they constantly reinforce the idea that the ultimate goal of existence is acquiring wealth, status, and authority.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, and Sufing groups these fantasies right alongside those serious business guides on elite thinking and breakthrough strategies. The text doesn't dismiss them as just silly pop culture or harmless self-help. It explicitly labels all of these teachings as doctrines of demonic origin.
Demonic. Wow, that is an intensely heavy word to use for a business book about elite thinking or a soap opera about marrying your boss.
What's fascinating here is the sheer scale of the condemnation. The text argues that these are demonic teachings, specifically because their ultimate aim is to corrupt the human mind.
Corrupt how exactly?
Well, the author claims that by focusing your energy on worldly achievements, these doctrines actively pull you toward lower realms of existence. The text describes a society that measures its value by wealth or power as a garbage society.
A garbage society.
Yeah, one that's brimming with vulgar flattery and rife with petty competition. Man, that phrasing, garbage society, it pulls absolutely no punches. It makes me think of it like this, it's like we're playing a video game where we think we're doing great,
Like racking up a high score.
Exactly. We're racking up points, we're collecting all the gold coins, getting the promotions, and we really think we're leveling up. But this text argues that the scoreboard is fake, the points are a trap, and by playing the game at all, we're actually just descending further and further into a toxic basement level.
That's a really perfect way to visualize the author's argument. You think you're climbing a ladder, but you're actually digging a hole.
But hold on, I have to ask, for anyone listening right now who is, working a double shift just to afford groceries, labeling ambition as demonic feels extremely aggressive.
I can totally see why you'd say that.
Right. Like, if you're struggling and you just want a better life, how is wanting to be an elite thinker demonic? Why is it a garbage society just because people want to be financially secure and respected? That brings us to the core tension of the text. If those video game points, The wealth and the power are fake. Why do they feel so much like genuine progress to us?
Right, because they definitely feel real when you get a raise.
Exactly.
Huh.
To answer that, we have to look at how the text defines what true reversal is not.
Here's where it gets really interesting, I think, because the text gets very specific about the markers of what we would normally call massive, undeniable success.
It really does. It talks about a poor person becoming wealthy, acquiring luxury cars, living in mansions, having servants.
Yeah, or a government worker rising to the position of director, where they're suddenly commanding others and surrounded by people just sucking up to them.
Sycophants, yeah.
Right. And by any modern metric, whether you're looking at someone's bank account or their LinkedIn profile, that person has reversed their destiny. Like they made it.
But according to Shuifeng, they haven't moved an inch,
Mm-hmm.
at least not in the direction that actually matters. The text argues that none of those things represent a true reversal of fate or an elevation of your life level.
And the metaphors the author uses to describe this worldly success are just brutal. Like when you finally get that mansion or that huge bank account, the text says it's akin to a fly landing on dung.
Yeah, a momentary gain. Or it's like a balloon that's just swelling up only to eventually burst.
That fly on dung metaphor is particularly striking to me.
It is, because it implies that the thing you've worked your whole life to attain material wealth is fundamentally worthless. It's literally waste.
Yeah.
The fly has found a massive pile of it, and the fly is very happy about it in the moment. But the fundamental nature of the achievement is vulgar.
Wow. And then there's the pig metaphor.
Right. The text states that a skinny pig that grows fat remains a pig.
A pig is a pig.
Exactly. And a lazy pig that rises to a position of authority among other pigs still represents no reversal or transcendence whatsoever.
Okay, wait, I have to push back on this on behalf of the listener, because if I'm hearing this, I'm thinking, isn't a promotion objectively better than struggling to survive?
Sure, practically speaking.
Like, isn't being a fat, comfortable pig with authority better than being a starving, skinny pig shivering out in the mud? How can the text say there's absolutely no difference?
Well, the author isn't denying that the circumstances have changed. The fat pig is certainly more comfortable. The director with sycophants has an easier daily life than the poor person. But the text is forcing us to look at the nature of the being itself.
The nature of the being, okay.
Yeah, you've changed your outfit, you've changed your environment, you've changed your bank balance.
Yeah.
But have you changed what you are? If you're a being driven by petty competition and vulgar flattery, and you get rich, you're just a rich being driven by petty competition and vulgar flattery.
Your spiritual state is basically identical.
Exactly.
So you're really just a better decorated version of your old self.
The text describes this illusion of progress, this obsession with getting rich or rising to an official position, as being akin to running in circles, trapped in a ghostly maze.
A ghostly maze, that's such a haunting image.
It really paints a picture. You're moving fast, you're exhausted, you're hitting milestones, but you're locked in a maze that has no actual exit.
You're just running around in the dark, chasing these bursts of dopamine, checking your 401k, chasing the next performance review and thinking the exit is right around the corner. But the maze is a closed loop.
Perfectly said.
Well, if navigating this ghostly maze of wealth and power is a total dead end, we need to talk about what the text defines as the actual exit door.
Right. Having torn down the false markers of success, the text finally presents its definition of true reversal. And it's a radical departure from anything we're taught in school or the corporate world.
It really is. The text defines true reversal as elevating your life level again, all caps, to a higher spiritual or existential state. And the examples the author gives are wild.
They definitely catch you off guard.
Yeah, it says a genuine reversal is a fox transforming into a human, or a pig evolving into a human. That is transcendence.
And the ultimate goal, the absolute peak of this true reversal, is a human ascending from the mortal world to heaven, to become a celestial being or a Buddha.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, what the text is demanding from the reader is a massive conceptual shift, because we spend our entire lives obsessed with horizontal progress.
Horizontal progress is a great way to frame it. Break down what you mean by that for someone, visualizing this.
Sure. Think about a timeline drawn on a piece of paper, right? From left to right.
Okay.
You start at the far left with $0 and an entry-level job. You move to the right, you get $50,000 and $100,000, a corner office, maybe a luxury car. You're moving horizontally across the plane of the human mortal world. You're taking up more space on that specific board.
But you're still entirely on the board.
Exactly. You haven't left the board.
What Feng is arguing is that true reversal is strictly vertical. It's not about taking up more space on the board, it's about floating completely off the board.
Oh, I love that.
You must stop looking left and right at what your neighbors have and start looking up. A fox doesn't achieve true reversal by becoming the wealthiest fox in the forest. It achieves it by ceasing to be a fox entirely, by metamorphosing into a human.
And a human doesn't achieve it by becoming the CEO of some massive company. They achieve it by ceasing to be bound by human mortal constraints, by becoming a celestial being.
It's an evolutionary leap in your state of being, not just a change in your socioeconomic status.
Conceptually, I'm tracking. I get the difference between horizontal and vertical. But practically, I mean, becoming a celestial being sounds like a fairly massive leap to put on your to-do list for a Tuesday.
Yeah, it's a bit much for a weekday.
Right. It's a beautiful idea, but how does the text say we actually execute this? Because if I want horizontal progress, there are like a million step-by-step guides for that on YouTube. How do I ascend vertically?
Well, the author doesn't leave us hanging. The text lays out a specific 8-step blueprint for ascension.
Okay, an 8-step blueprint.
Yes. And it's a deeply demanding set of principles designed to help you escape the ghostly maze and completely transform your life level.
Let's get into the mechanics of it then, because this is where the theory actually hits the road.
So the foundation of this blueprint is entirely about controlling your inputs, what you let into your mind and your heart.
Makes sense.
Step 1, the text states you must keep your heart pure and simple. And it explicitly declares that this inner purity is vastly more valuable than any massive amount of material wealth. You're instructed to focus your inner eye only on truth, goodness, beauty, love, faith, and sincerity, not on money, power, or empty fame.
Okay, so step 1 is basically ferociously protecting your mental real estate, rejecting the garbage society's metrics before they can even take root in your brain.
Exactly. And that leads directly into step 2, which is a severe information diet. The text says you must listen only to the teachings of Jesus Christ, Buddha Shakyamuni, Sage Laozi, and primal chaos.
Wait, really?
Yeah. It commands the reader to literally discard all other teachings and instigations.
That's a fascinating list. It pulls from Christianity, Buddhism, Taoism with Laozi, but then includes this concept of primal chaos. That's a really heavy philosophical term. For anyone who hasn't studied ancient cosmology, what does the author mean by listening to primal chaos?
Right. So primal chaos in this context refers to the primordial state of the universe, before things were separated into rigid categories.
Before all our modern labels.
Exactly. Before human ego, ambition, and societal rules structured everything into boxes. Listening to primal chaos means tuning into that raw, unformed potential of existence, rather than the artificial rules of the ghostly maze.
Ah, okay.
By limiting your inputs to just these core spiritual anchors, you're firmly shutting the door on modern self-help, elite thinking guides, and toxic media.
You're starving the worldly ambition and feeding the spiritual metamorphosis. I like that. But it's the next part of the blueprint, steps 3 and 4, that really flips everything on its head.
Yes, the detachment phase.
Right. The text talks about detaching from outcomes. It says you must move in the direction of having nothing to possess everything.
It's the ultimate paradox. Having nothing to possess everything is the exact antithesis of hustle culture, which basically preaches have everything to possess everything.
But how does that actually work mechanically? How do you possess everything by having nothing?
Think about the heavy sandbags holding a hot air balloon to the ground.
Okay.
Those sandbags are your ego, your resentments, your attachment to your car, your job title, your bank account. The text instructs you to strive to the maximum extent to be selfless, egoless, without attachment, and without resentment.
So cutting the sandbags loose.
Precisely. If you own nothing in your heart, meaning you aren't desperately attached to material things, you can't be threatened. You're no longer bound by the fear of losing your stuff. By letting go of the tiny slice of the board you were trying to claim, you open yourself up to the entirety of the vertical experience.
Which flows perfectly into step 5, how the text says we should interact with society. You're supposed to dedicate yourself to others to the best of your ability without calculating personal gain or loss.
No transactional relationships. You give because it's in your vertical nature to give, not because you expect a return on investment horizontally.
So what does this all mean? Because I have to stop you right there for step 6. I'm looking at this part of the blueprint that talks about navigating the real world, and my alarm bells are ringing on behalf of the listener.
I know exactly which part you mean.
The text says, do not play mind games, Do not use schemes. Do not set traps. And here's the absolute kicker. Even if you are deceived or scammed, you must maintain your own magnanimity and purity.
Yeah, that's a tough one to swallow.
Wait, hold on. You're telling me to walk into a modern, cutthroat corporate environment without any armor? If someone lies to me, steals my ideas, or scams me out of my money, I'm just supposed to smile, take it, and stay happy about my purity. That sounds like a recipe for absolute ruin.
This raises an important question, and it's exactly where the friction of this philosophy is supposed to challenge you. You're looking at that instruction through the lens of the ghostly maze.
I mean, I guess I am. I'm worried about getting destroyed in the real world.
But remember the metaphors we discussed earlier. The text is already established that the wealth of the real world is dung.
Oh, right. The fly on the dung.
Exactly. If someone scams you out of your dung, why would you let it destroy your inner peace?
Okay, wow.
The core logic of the text is that material loss doesn't matter, because the material itself is just a bursting balloon. Purity is the actual currency of the realm you're trying to enter.
I see.
If someone schemes against you and you scheme back or you become deeply resentful, you're playing their game. You're jumping right back into the muddy pen with the other pigs to fight over the scraps.
By refusing to scheme, even when you're deceived, you're proving that you are no longer bound by the rules of the garbage society.
Exactly. You stay vertical.
Wow. Okay, that is incredibly difficult to execute, but the internal logic holds up perfectly. If the money isn't real progress, losing the money isn't real regression. The only real regression is letting your heart become impure by seeking revenge or holding a grudge.
Which brings us to steps 7 and 8, the final pieces of the blueprint, which really serve as the ultimate support system for this radical vulnerability.
Let's hear them.
Step 7. The text tells you to hand your life over to God and let the Tao manage your life.
So you relinquish control completely, you just stop trying to steer the ship.
Right. You free yourself from the demonic anxiety of control, the constant low-level hum of stress we all feel, trying to protect our ego, our reputation, our stuff. It just evaporates when you hand management over to the Tao.
And the final instruction.
Step 8 is simply that once you've done this, you must maintain your happiness and joy every single day.
Well, maintaining joy definitely sounds a lot more achievable when you aren't constantly terrified of losing your status in the ghostly maze.
The author concludes by assuring the reader that adhering to these 8 principles will undoubtedly result in true reversal and transcending your life levels.
Whether you agree with it or not, it is a breathtakingly uncompromising blueprint.
It really is all or nothing.
Let's bring this all together. What we've unpacked today is a stark binary choice presented by Wu Feng. On one hand, you can stay in what the text calls the garbage society. You can consume the time travel dramas, buy the guides on elite thinking, scheme, compete, and try your absolute hardest to be the wealthiest, most powerful pig in the pen.
But the text warns that choosing that horizontal path means you will remain trapped in a ghostly maze, suffering the endless anxiety of a balloon that's eventually going to burst.
Or, on the other hand, you can choose true reversal. You can abandon those worldly attachments, purify your inputs, refuse to engage in the petty competition even when you're disadvantaged, and focus entirely on vertical spiritual ascension toward becoming a celestial being.
It's a blueprint that demands absolute vulnerability in the material world in exchange for absolute invincibility in the spiritual world.
So as you go about your week, I want you to really look at your own goals. Look at your to-do list. When you're sitting in traffic or stressing out about a project, ask yourself, are you just trying to navigate the ghostly maze to get a little bit more cheese?
Are you chasing a promotion, a purely horizontal move?
Exactly. Or are you practicing radical sincerity? Are you letting go of your attachments and aiming for true vertical metamorphosis?
It's a profoundly challenging lens to view your own life through. It forces you to question the very foundation of your daily motivations.
And as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with one final lingering question to mull over. Something that builds on everything Shufeng laid out today.
Okay, let's hear it.
Think back to the video game metaphor we started with. We are so deeply conditioned to want to win, to achieve the high score, to officially level up.
Right, it's baked into us.
But look at the principles of true reversal. Having nothing, being egoless, not calculating gain, letting go of control entirely.
The complete surrender of all worldly ambition.
Right. So what if the ultimate paradox of this spiritual ascension is that in order to truly level up, you have to completely let go of your desire to achieve anything at all? Meaning the exact moment you stop desperately trying to transcend is the exact moment you actually do.
Wow. That's a powerful thought to sit with.
Good luck out there in the maze.